Hi, my name is Haley Wood, and this is my Module 12 Tort Liability assignment for EDL 850. First, to define tort. Tort is an actionable or civil wrong committed against one person by another that is independent on contract, and if injury occurs, then liabilities can be possible. And the two types of tort are intentional tort and unintentional. Intentional includes assault, battery, defamation, false imprisonment, or trespass to personal privacy. These intentional torts intend to cause harm to another, and they must be aware that injury could occur. It also requires proof of intent and is deliberate. Unintentional tort includes negligence, and it does not require proof of intent, and unintentional is the most often to affect schools. The first case that I looked up was Frame versus Comiax. Frame was an 8th grade student, and Comiax was a science teacher who was acting as a substitute teacher in a classroom. He was administering the test, and several students had already been asked to leave the room for being disruptive. And Frame was also asked to leave the room twice, and he did not follow the directions of the teacher. The teacher approached Frame's desk, and then Frame stood up. The teacher grabbed Frame's arm, and then the student went backwards and hit his head on a podium, and then he left the room. He pressed charges for assault and battery against that teacher. A few things about this case. I would have notified the superintendent if this occurred. I would call the parents right away and kind of discuss the behaviors of the student and what the teacher had done. I would also remind all of my teachers that if situations occur in the classroom that they need help with, remind them to get help from administration or call another teacher into the room if possible. Some proactive ways, I would offer training for substitute teachers. In a lot of schools, substitute teachers are constantly there, and so they kind of need to be aware of some of the things that go on so we can prevent some issues occurring. I know this teacher was actually a teacher in the building, but I also think it'd be beneficial for substitute teachers in general. Just ethics, teachers shouldn't place their hands on students or grab them. When the student wasn't wanting to follow the teacher's directions, something should have taken place other than the teacher grabbing the student. The next case was Hoyam versus Manhattan Beach City School District. Hoyam was a 10-year-old who went to summer school, and the student left class before the day was over, and he was hit by a motorcycle at a public intersection. The student suffered emotional and physical injuries. The mom said that the student was playing hooky, and the court ended up ruling there was negligent supervision because when the student, when the student left the grounds, the teachers aren't required to control the students off the school grounds, but if there was failure of supervision on the school grounds, then it could be a case which here, this is what happened. The court ruled that there was negligent supervision before the student left, resulting in the student being hit by the motorcycle and causing those issues, causing the student to leave without permission. In this case, the reactive, I would contact the superintendent. I would also speak with the teacher who was last in charge of supervision, kind of just to see what the teacher last knew occurred, if she gave the student permission to do something. And then I'd also always contact the parents, just right away, be upfront and say we're looking into the situation and going to do our best to help your student. Proactive ways, I would have a policy in place for students leaving the building, and I would also make sure students are aware that they're not allowed to do that in the process they need to go through. I'd also have a procedure if students don't comply. Administration needs to be contacted right away so we can go locate them, contact police, whatever needs to be done. I would also review safety with my staff and also have my staff do it with the students, the importance of us knowing where you're at so your parents know that you're safe at school. Ethics, teachers should take responsibility for making sure that students are safe. That's our number one duty, and we need to make sure that we follow that responsibility. The third case I looked up was Flanagan versus Canton Central School District. Flanagan was a 5th grade student. The gym class that the student was in kind of was getting out of control, so the teacher stopped the class early to be able to speak with the students about following directions and listening and why it's important. And then the teacher sent the students to the locker room to change. Flanagan was pushed in the locker room, and he fell into a locker and hit a bench. The teacher was not in there at the time that this occurred because he was talking to some other students not in the locker room about the behaviors that occurred that day. The parents sued on basis of injuries caused by negligence of the teacher not being there, and the court ruled in favor of the student because they said that due to the situations that had occurred that day, there needed to be more supervision of the students. In this case, reactive, I'd contact the superintendent. I'd speak with the teacher about details of the situation, and then I'd contact the parents right away. A proactive way, I would have a monitor of locker rooms other than the teacher. For example, paras. I know there's situations that occur all the time where a teacher might need to speak with a student, being unable to be in the locker room to review those things. And I would also just review the importance of classroom management with all of my teachers and to maybe help prevent the situation from occurring. Ethics, teachers should always make student safety a priority and be aware of bullying or inappropriate situations that occur. And I know at least at our school that the locker rooms there's been a lot of issues in there. And so having that supervision has been one way to help prevent issues. My case number 4 was Collins versus Bossier Parish School Board. 2 kindergarten students were playing on monkey bars at recess, and one student wrapped his legs around the other student, causing that student to fall. As a result of that student falling, he suffered with a broken femur. The teacher did not see this occur because at the time she was reprimanding some other students on their behaviors out at recess. The parents of the student sued, saying that negligence occurred. And the court ended up ruling no negligence. They were talking about how at recess you can never prevent everything from occurring with those students, and the teacher did what needed to be done. In this situation, reactive, I would speak with the teacher about details of the situation, contact the parent saying here's what happened, just being upfront with them. Proactive, I would make sure that playground rules are required by all classes. As an administrator, I might even have the classes come out one at a time and I specifically go over the rules with them. And I also think it's important to go over the rules more than once throughout the year, kind of several times just to make sure students are still aware of the importance of them. I would also have at least 2 teachers on duty at all times, not just in situations like this, but others where one teacher might need to be taking care of a student, letting a student into the building. So it's important to always have that constant supervision even when things occur. Ethics, I would just make sure my teachers should always make sure to take responsibility to keep the students safe and make sure they are following the rules. It can be easy to let students just play and not focus on reminding them the importance of what we have gone over and the reason for those safety rules. The last case was Joyce versus Simi Valley Unified School District. Joyce was a 13-year-old who was hit by a car while walking on a crosswalk without signals to school. She suffered severe head injuries. The schoolyard gate encouraged students to use the crosswalk across a dangerous intersection instead of using a crosswalk that was nearby that had signals alerting drivers of the safety. And so the school didn't warn of that dangerous intersection to drivers, or it didn't encourage or direct students to use the other crosswalk that would have been safer. The open gate was dangerous. This is what the court ended up ruling. The gate was dangerous and the district did not take action to protect the risk of students being injured. And so Joyce was awarded a large amount of money and then it was kind of distributed among the district, Joyce herself, the driver, and the city on who the negligence fell back onto for this occurring. In this situation, the reactive, I'd contact the superintendent and contact the parents right away. Proactive, I would block off unsafe entrances to my school, especially if there was a dangerous intersection. Maybe not have it encouraged. Tell students to go over this, and we don't want you to use this one, just making sure they're aware of it. I would also try and have some crossing guards. This could be like a volunteer position for parents or others, just trying to find a way to get more supervision. And I also review safety with my students from a young age and just continuously review it, safety of looking both ways before crossing the street and why we use the street crossings. Ethics, just once again, like always, teachers should take responsibility to make sure that students are safe. And we also need to make sure that students have a safe way to get to school and kind of make that a little bit our priority as teachers. Thanks.